What's the deal, my people? You know it is Don Tony Teflon, and I am back at you with another video. I am here. I'm sorry I'm a little bit late, 12 minutes or so. Hopefully the right mic. I didn't even get a chance to check my microphone. Let me make sure it's the right mic that's on. Yes. All right. Make sure that is right. So that is good. Everything is good. They got all this new. Let me lean back a little bit. They got all this new stuff going on in the street yard, stuff like that. So I got to go through it all and everything else and all that good stuff. But Don is here. And we're here again with another From Season 4 stream, talking about this upcoming season that we will get and everything else. And, we're going to get into everything and talk about everything else like that. Great, Mike. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. But before I do get into all this, and hopefully Phil will finally come out of retirement and join me. Hopefully he'll be here. But before we get into all this stuff, I got to say what up to the people who are here representing, as they always do, in the goddamn hood, rocking with Don Tony Teflon. So let's say what up to all of y'all real quick, to the people who are here right now. Right now, let's put up. Rose Jones is in the building, rocking with us right now. She does the most is in the building, rocking with us right now. Elon is in the building, rocking with us right now. TNX is up in this piece, rocking with us now. The man in black is up in here, rocking with us now. Nigel Hunt is in the building, rocking with us right now. KP, is up here, rocking with the Don Tony Teflon and all y'all right now. Who else do we got in here right now? Saggy Star is up in this piece. Laura Butler is up in this piece. A bunch of y'all, I appreciate y'all. Again, we know that this is the off season. We know it's going to be a little while before we get anything. So the fact that y'all will actually come out here and rep the familiar means a lot to the Don and everything else. I truly 100% appreciate it and all that. And we definitely going to get it popping up in here. We definitely gonna do our thing to keep this thing going. We ain't gonna stop. Again, phone lines are open, 518-290-0848. So you can call in and you could say whatever you feel to the Don himself. And I'd love to hear from you personally. I know a lot of y'all camera shy, that's why you have the phone number, so you can hear your voice and everything. Sunny Skies, what's going on with you? Well, let's see. He says it is pronounced what? Alan D. All right, Alan D is what we go with. Why wouldn't it be a line? Alan D, though. That's what he says. That's what we are. What's going on to the recovering what? The recovering Hunbot. What's going on with you? Our girl Carla is in the building. She's been on a hiatus for a little while. She had some shows that she was out there handling. She had some family trips that she was going on. Everything is going love with her. I'm glad that she's back and everything else. Let me take a swig of this bitch. And let's get into this. Let's get into Isis Blue. What's going on with you? Let's get into. So this episode we talk about, and again, we're gonna bring up different topics. We're gonna talk about these damn monsters, right? These nightmare creatures. All of them. What's their purpose? What are they trying to do? What is really going on with them? Everything that we know, which always leads back to the man in yellow, who was the only one of these creatures, if he is one of these creatures, and we'll discuss that could actually be outside in the sun or daytime. You don't see him directly in the sun, but it seems like it's daytime. Again, we'll go through that whole situation. Again, that happened with him. But first, we'll talk about these creatures and stuff in general, what we know about them and everything else. So our first introduction to this creature is the grandma creature. Is the first introduction that we get. And we see that she's able to convince this little girl to open her window. Now, her mom's did a terrible job. Let me explain to you. First, the dad is drunk. He can't leave the bar. Too late. He's got to stay in there. Mom's is in there with the daughter. Daughter goes up there. She starts talking to this grandma creature. The grandma creature says, it's cold outside. You need to open the door. Let me in. Like, over the window. It's cold up in this. Now, listen. The mom is out there and she's screaming at her. She's not your grandma. It's not. Get away from the window. Get away. Now, this is the perfect situation to hit the kid in the head with a brick. Now, that's what I would have done. Because it's not just your life on the line, goddammit, it's mine too. Right? And in situations like this, it's time to brick it. Now, if it was my mother, she would have probably threw a shoe at me. She would have did something, but she wouldn't have just stood there and just tried to communicate with her. Now, this time you got to rush over there and do something about this goddamn situation. Right? You can't just stand there and just let it happen. And that's exactly what she did. Now, she was able, from what we know how many monsters went in there. We have no idea. But we are led to believe, from what we've seen, that this grandma monster was able to jump in there, kill the little girl, as we've seen, and somehow track down the mother too. Now, we have seen these monsters. They don't seem that fast to me. I mean, I've never seen it. I mean, the fastest I've ever seen is when Smile Monster killed Victor's mother by the tree. Fastest I've ever seen him run. Besides that, I ain't seen shit. The mom had some distance. There. Now, is it possible that the mom got away, ran down the steps, opened the door to get out the house, and then there were more monsters out there? Maybe. It's not what we were shown, though. We weren't shown that. All right? But maybe that's how it happened. But we are not shown that. So it's hard for me to believe, in all honesty, the grandma monster was able to kill the girl and kill that mother. Unless that mother just froze and laid there. Unless she just chilled there. And said, oh my God, my daughter, and let this lady get up there and kill her. So that's always been suspect to me. But what we learned about this whole situation is that the talismans prevent them from coming inside of their house. But the talisman at this particular time, when boy goes in, he picks it up off the floor. So what does that teach us? That teaches us that this talisman has no radiation or no effect. I mean, it has no barrier preventing the monsters from touching it. Now, why wouldn't the monsters just destroy it? I don't know. You know, if the monsters are able to touch the talismans, which they are, because we've seen it knocked on the floor, why wouldn't the monster just take it with them? You've seen them take other stuff. We've seen them caves that had a whole bunch of shit in there. But instead of taking the talisman, they just threw it on the floor and left it. Right? And let me just give a shout out to Rose Jones, who just gifted 10, not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 super chats of memberships for y'all familiar in the chat right now. So if you just became a member of the familiar, make sure you give a shout out to Rose Jones. I can't see it right there on there. I can't see it. I can only see what StreamYard shows me. So make sure you do. That's why usually Phil's here. He has the other one open. He's able to do that stuff. All right. So thank you so much, Rose Jones. Thank you so much. It really means the world to me. And anybody who just got a membership, please shout out Rose Jones for giving you that membership and take advantage of all those emojis and all the things you can do by being a member. Salute. All right. So that's the first introduction we get to these monsters. All right. First thing that we get the introduction to the monsters. So we know that they could touch the talisman. They can't enter the house when the talisman is up. They could touch the talisman. They don't take the talismans with them. Now, why is this? Why would they not take it with them? That's the question I have. Why wouldn't you just take it and throw it and chuck it, throw it down a well? If you knew that this was the thing that was preventing all of your people from getting inside the house and slaughtering these people, why wouldn't you do something like that? Unless this is a part of the game. And if it's part of a game, that means this whole thing is a setup and it's all rigged. And it could be two types of games. It could be an experimental game, or it could be a Truman Show situation. Again, when I look at the way the weather changed and then went away when they put the tower, when Boyd and them got close to the lighthouse, and the weather just changed on the dial, it really made me think of a dial like, all right, we're going to go bad weather. Here we go. Let me flip that switch. Now the bad weather, they going away. The evil boy in white has convinced them not to go in there, and he gets them to go in the faraway tree and traps them. And then all of a sudden the weather gets better. Like they just turn the switch to get the weather to go right back to what it was before. That's what it seems like to me. And again, the boy in white is considered a creature. And yes, I do think he's evil 100%. There's nothing this boy in white has done that anyone could tell me is positive at all. You may want to say, what has he done? And I do believe that he controls a lot of these faraway trees and where people wind up. It's all up to him. That's what we have learned so far, real quick, about this. Think about these lime ones. These limes, they give you that when you drink these lime ones. Yeah. Man, that's the way I feel when I drink it. So that's why I got to keep drinking them. Yes. Oh, yeah. Remember, YouTube decides where the memberships go. So it is a random situation. I have heard people say that the more that you chat in the chat, the more likely you are to get one of those memberships. I don't know if that's true. It may be. I know they have some new ranking system, and people who leave stuff in there, you get more points, and you know what I mean? I don't know all these things. I just know that's what's going on. Again, let's get back to this. And again, if you do want to call in at any time and you want to talk to the Don Tony Teflon, 518-290-0848. 518-290-0848. Right. So then we learn from this. What do we learn from this killing? We see that the breastplate rib cage is ripped open. And we see that there are organs that are missing in both the girl and the mother. And we have seen this countless times that when these creatures kill, that these organs aren't there. Now, we know from the autopsy that it's impossible for them to eat any of these people. They're petrified inside. In fact, when some type of living organism got inside of the smile monster, he died. We know that there is some type of bile, which is usually used to digest stuff, that was still inside of them. Right? But we know that they are not eating these people. They're not just sitting there mowing down, but we do know that the organs are gone. Now, a lot of these killings have taken place at night. In fact, all of them have, from what we have seen, except for Jim. And everybody else is always hidden when these killings take place. And then they come out in the morning and they find the organs ripped out of the body, and the body's opened up like that. Are the monsters taking these organs? Which is most likely the case. But why are they taking them? What are they trying to do with them? Who is telling them to take them? Are they just doing that on their own? But we'll get into that a little bit more, a little bit later. Now, when also dealing with these monsters, let's fast forward a little bit of what we've seen. Donna has said that they used to scream a lot, scare people. But then they changed their tactics up, became more stealthy. We know that they have two forms. They have a glamored form, which we must consider is some type of glamour, where their clothes are pristine and they look fairly decent. They don't look great. They don't look exact. They look human. They look better than they do in their regular form with the varicose veins and legs and shit. Which, how do you have varicose veins when you don't have any blood going through your body? But we'll talk about that a little bit later. We're going to get into all that stuff. We're going to get everything. So far from what we know is that the talisman prevents them from going in the house, but they are able to touch the talisman. And we know that when they kill, they change from their form of glamored into a bald-headed form of a creature. And then when they're in this form, their nails can grow longer, as we see in the death of Father Kotri. And we know that when they kill people, they rip open the rib cage and the organs aren't in there. Now, that are the facts that we're dealing with right here. We're not dealing with speculation, a little speculation, but we're trying to go through here everything and talk about the facts here. That is the factual evidence that we have. So what can we gather from this? We know they don't eat them, but they do take the organs out. So we can assume that they're taking these organs for a reason. When we have seen them inside of their dwelling, we have not seen them ever have organs laying around. 1 second, people. I'm sorry. I'll get back to that. We have not seen them ever inside of this thing, inside the dwelling. So the organs aren't in the cave from what we've seen. All right? We haven't seen them in there. So where are they taking these organs to? And what are they doing with the organs? That is the question we must answer. Again, these creatures are referred to as nightmare creatures. That is what they are billed as on their manifest, that they're nightmare creatures. We have heard many a times of creatures of this place being considered a dream or a nightmare. They have shown us that over and over again in the show. Nightmare creatures, this place is a dream. If you go high enough, even a nightmare could look like a dream. And when Fatima got married, there was a dream catcher behind her. You can go through it all. Jade, when he first got here, he thought that it was a escape room, right? And it was a nightmare escape room. Again, and when dealing with Jade, he says specifically, we are like rats in the maze chasing a piece of cheese, but it's people like him that places the cheese. Right? So he doesn't consider himself as one of these people, regular people. And what can we say about Jade? Jade is a billionaire, from what we know. He sold a company that made a lot of money. So we could say he's more of an upper class status. And he looks at everybody else a little bit beneath him. But it's the people, the billionaires status where he would be, he's saying, that place the cheese, which would be considered like the Elon Musks of the world, the politicians of the world, the presidents of the world, the governors, all of them. They're the ones who place the cheese, and he refers to himself in that category. So he says specifically, we are rats in the maze, running around searching for the cheese. What is the cheese that's being placed out there? And why would he consider that, look at it that way? Why would he look at this whole situation as something like that? Unless there are people like himself placing the cheese for all these people. And that would lead us back to this being a experiment. Again, we've heard of experiment. Though the Don has given that theory, and I've told you that before. We have heard it in the show. No, I gave it to you before they said in the show. That people are being experimented on. And if you are experimenting on somebody and you want to do some type of test on them, what better way than to get the organs and see what type of stress or whatever has happened to the organs? What better way than to get these? Now, we'll take it from there a little bit and we'll try to move it over to the more supernatural situation. Why would these creatures want these organs in a supernatural sense? Are they trying to bring themselves back to life? Is there some type of ritual they can perform with these organs? Like there's shit we know from the autopsy, and we'll go to the autopsy real quick. Although we're jumping ahead a little bit. Let's go to the autopsy. After Boyd kills a smile monster, and we know how he kills him, he slices him in his neck. No blood comes out of his body. He puts these worms inside of him, which causes him to die. As soon as he dies, the other creatures look down upon him, look at him, and then they walk away together. They take him inside of the building that they do the autopsy, open up his chest. Again, this is something that I said needed to happen. All right. I said this before, autopsy, everything. I said it, that this has to happen. In order to defeat your enemy, you must know your enemy. You must capture one. As I said, you need to capture one, and you need to run an autopsy on them and see what's inside makes them tick. But we have learned that all their organs that were inside were human, which got rid of any theories of people thinking that there's some type of robots. Right, that knocks that out the box. At one point, they were human, but all their bones and everything was petrified inside, stone-like. Now, we had on the actress who plays Chrissy on the channel and talked to her about this directly, and she specifically said that they were petrified, that these things were made of stone that was inside of them. All right, so that's not speculation. That's not what we've seen. It's stone. That's it. That's what it is. No matter how it may depict or look like on the show, they are stoned. All right, all the inside of it when they opened it up, which they should have did more of. So we have these stone creatures that are inside, and obviously, if you have that on the inside of you, you can't see. Now, I'm going to ask you a question because I don't exactly remember, though. I'm not sure about this. I'm trying to think back. So I asked you in the chat, though I don't think they did. Did they cut the man's head open and examine his brain? They do that. We got Hey 2T says no. Bill Chill says no. Someone says, caught you. You caught me doing what? Who are you? Christina Jellybean. Caught me doing what? And we have another one. Rose Jones. No. They did not examine the brain, which I think is very interesting. You know, you are going to take the brain is the most important thing. Now, if that brain was stone, then we would know, oh, caught your live stream. Oh, I appreciate you, Christine Jellybean. I'm glad you are here. The brain is what's important in this whole body. This is what we need to know. Why didn't they open the brain? They showed us all the chest and everything else. And I basically think they did that to prove that it wasn't mechanical. But what's going on with the brain? Is the brain made of stone also? or not? Are there microchips in there running around? What's going on with that whole situation with the brain, and why didn't they show us that? And I think that is where they're trying to throw us off a little bit. We won't allow them to throw us off. We're gonna keep going. We ain't gonna let them. But let's always remember the brain is not there. Now, at this particular time, again, Donna comes in, and Donna, the first thing she says is burn the body. Get rid of it and tell nobody you did this. Now, I did the last live stream about Donna. Y'all can go back there and see my feelings on Donna. But that's what we got right there. Right? So what we know from them is that these creatures are called nightmare creatures. Let's break it all down right from the beginning. They're called nightmare creatures. They have a glamour on them. When they kill people, they cannot control, and they go back to their real form. They can touch the talismans. For some reason, they don't take them. They harvest organs, and they do not eat these people. They're not doing it for nourishment. It's not a zombie situation. So why are they doing it? Why are we doing it? And that's what you need to know. The motivation of these creatures is what has not been displayed for us. We've seen zombie movies, Walking Dead, whatever you want to say. They eat brains and shit, these zombies, right? They like to eat brains and everything else. We know all that shit. We've seen all this. We know the motivation of those creatures. But we don't know the motivation of these motherfuckers. And until we figure out the motivation, we can't figure out what's going on. Now, we know the origin story from what Fatima was told. That they made a wish for eternal life, and this is what they got cast to. Yes, they have eternal life, but they are stuck in this form. But it doesn't give us the motivation of why they are doing. They can be stuck in this form all they want. Are they driven to kill? Do they have some type of, because it seems to me, and let's go into this real quick, the porn stash situation. Now, porn stash was up inside of the county house smoking marijuana with his boys. He looked out the window and he seen the Jasmine monster and said, look at this one over here. She's pretty hot. Now, I made all that up, but it would have had to be. At some point, this man was looking out the window of creatures that kill people, and his dick got hard from looking. To the point where all of a sudden, he started leaving flowers out. And then he noticed that the flowers were gone. Not only did he notice they were gone, that she was picking the flowers up herself. So she must have stood outside sniffing those motherfuckers while he was in the window. Or he would know to keep leaving flowers. Right? So porn stash in Colony house can't get no ass. Just like Kenny ain't getting no ass. Maybe this is where Kenny's going. Maybe Kenny is going to start trying to fuck a monster too. Maybe that's the thing that's going on. All right? Julie found those flowers, but those weren't the first flowers that he had left. He had left many bouquets of flowers because when she talks to Porn Stash, it's not the first time they talk. And she says to him, I can't keep going on like this. So he has had many conversations with her. Many. But this is the one conversation that she was actually able to convince him to let him go on. But the fact she said, I can't keep going on like this, will have to lead us to believe that this has been going on for a while. And he's been leaving flowers out. All right? And that's his thing. And they actually show him, right? When they show Porn Stash, They show him walking through the county house while a couple is fucking, while the shorty is riding the dude in the county house, and he walks past it. This is the reason they showed that. They showed that to show you what he's not getting and his motivations of talking to this creature. The porn stash ain't getting no ass in the county house, which to me would be pretty hard to do. Pretty hard to do. Let me tell you something, man. If the Don Tony Teflon was in the county house, I would have my way with anyone in that house that I felt. All right? And Trudy would have been the first one, her little Alabaster dragon riding ass. She would have been the first one to get it. All right? And it would have happened probably the first night that Don rolled up through this motherfucker. And I wouldn't need no goddamn potato vodka. All I need is my caramel skin and my smile. So porn stash goes through. All right? And then after he goes through, he sees people fucking. He can't take it. Can't take it anymore. He couldn't take it. It pushed him to the point when he's seen them people fucking, that when he's seen this monster, and she said, I just listen. Molly Dunsworth is amazing looking, isn't he? He picked a good one. All right. If Porn Stash was doing this to the grandma monster, I have a little bit more problems with him. All right. I have a little problems with him if it was going like that. You know what I'm saying? But he picked a good one. He did. I ain't gonna lie. Picked a good one. You know what I mean? He picked a good one in there. So talks to her. I can't go on like this with you. I just not being able to touch you. And right when she said those touchy words, that if you go back, you could see it. All of a sudden, he's got the Woody on. And he's like, well, if you promise, just you, okay? I don't give a goddamn if Beyonce, Halle Berry, Gail, King, whoever is outside my window. And I done seen these people kill motherfuckers. I don't care how fat the booty is. I would never open that goddamn window. But he had no choice. He just couldn't hold himself down. Well, listen, I remember you ripped that person's chest off the other night, but if it's only you, right? How come he didn't put his bitch ass outside? Porn Stash. He should have been like, listen, I'll be right out, babe. I ain't gonna open this window, but I'll be right out for you. All right? He didn't do that shit. But no, he lets her in. And then when she comes through the window, they immediately kill him. He starts kissing her, and she is unresponsive. Which, the first kiss he gave her, he should have realized she wasn't into it. She didn't open her mouth. She was just like, and he's like, and she's just like, he didn't realize the first time. I ain't never had that response in my goddamn life. Never. Never, ever. So he gets in there, and he says, oh my God, you're so warm. And she says, what, you think I was cold? Now, we know why they did this. Number one, how is she warm without blood in her body? Can't explain that, right? There's got to be blood in the body in order to keep your body warm. That's where your temperature's regulated. She has no blood in the body. We don't know what's going on in that brain, though. We need to know what that is before we can figure all that out and everything else, right? We need to figure that shit out. But they did that to let us know that they're not vampires, right? That was the purpose of it. The whole code. We know vampires are freezing cold and all that, right? And the reason why vampires are cold because they don't got no fucking blood in there going through their body anymore. But that is the reason why they said that line specifically. So then he tries to grab on her ass a little bit. I've seen him. He tried. And that's when she grabs his lower back right where his bitch ass tramp stamp should be, because he's a bitch like that and he deserves to have a tramp stamp. She puts the claws right in his back, bites his tongue out, spits it at his bitch ass, kills him, and then opens the window. Now, the reason why I bring all this up, and the reason why I say this, is not to make fun of porn stars. He's too easy of a target. I say this to let you know that these monsters are not driven by a hunger. It's nothing that is there that's forcing them. They can't control themselves and they just have to kill on sight. She controlled herself the whole time and allowed this man to kiss on her and everything else. She didn't have to do that. She could have came through the window and killed him right away, but she played the whole game up and everything else, right? And she bit the tongue out to prevent the man from screaming. So when we look at this situation, we know they're not driven by hunger. We know they can't eat. So what is their motivation? Again, we're going to keep coming back to that because that is truly what it's about. And what do you guys think their motivation? What is the monster's motivation? If you can figure out the monster's motivation, then you understand what this whole series is about. Again, you can call in 518-290-0848. I'm about to call my fucking self. I'm about to call myself. Because y'all don't want to. Y'all be fronting on the call. We got over 90 people up in this piece. And nobody want to call. But let's go through the chat a little bit and see what's going on in the chat. Real quick. Just go. Says hey to everybody. We got Baby Clay says what he thought was going to what he thought was gonna. I don't know. I thought he thought he was gonna fuck her. That's what he thought. He thought he was gonna and beat that ass. You want to take this call?
From Rambert Manor. To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail.
What's going on? You're rocking with the Don, Tony, Teflon.
You took Mr. Teflon. Mr. Teflon, sir, how are you?
What's going on, KP?
I'm good. Just chilling, enjoying the little show tonight. You know what I mean? I have like 2 or 3 things I want to bring up.
Mm-hmm.
First thing is, you assume that because the little talisman was on the ground, that the monsters would have thrown it there. But I mean, in the hubbub of rushing into the house and rushing around the house, he hit the wall, he touched the door, whatever. It could have fallen down. I mean, there's a lot happening, in that house.
I hear what you say, KP, but we've seen them do it. It happened in another place that they did it in Colony.
Oh yeah, they did. All right,
in Colony House.
I got my point. That if we've seen them do that in another episode, which is very, very possible, I remember it, but that's very possible. Then I redact that complaint. So the other part, with respect to like the petrification of the body and then being biological, but being like rotten biological, and he was asking, well, it has to be their brain is controlling them. But I don't think so. I think it's a kind of I think each one of these, they are animated by some magical energy. So they don't necessarily require energy or sustenance from within the body, because they get that through some sort of wireless system. And they communicate with one another. So they're kind of like receivers receiving a message and then acting upon it, but having the individuality to kind of act upon things in a individual way. So like it seems that they operate through a hive mind. What do you think about that?
Real quick, they all seem to have different personalities, right? So we see them there, every one of them active. I didn't see the grandma monster trying to seduce somebody. I didn't see the grandma monster pulling the titties out and shaking them at nobody. Right? We didn't see that shit go on. You know what I mean? I didn't see. I didn't see the cowboy monster. Individualism. I didn't see the cowboy monster dropping his doors and doing a helicopter. He wasn't
correct. They definitely are individuals. But you can be individual people, but you have a grand system that you are moving in the direction of. So that this grand system is your order and say, okay, go to Frank's house. Then the individual will say, yes, we're going to go to Frank's house, but on the way to Frank's house, we're going to grab a kid, pull him off his bike and eat him too. Like the individual could decide to do that. So does that make sense? Like, when I say like there's an overarching grand vision that each one of them share through this hive mind, but there's also a level of individuality in terms of how they carry their mission out. Does that make sense?
It does, but usually the hive mind, and I do believe there is some type of control, but usually when we have seen the hive mind depicted, and I would need Phil here more than anything to talk about.
Because the Borg is a good example of a hive mind
but the Borg,
they have no individuality in the Borg.
There was no individuality in the Borg at all.
But initially, but coming down to the end, you have like 4 or 5 examples of Borgs. First, you have the Borg Queen, because you have a Borg Queen in English. So now you have a Borg Queen who is the actual political and motivational leader of the group, and they operate hive mind. And then you also have like Seven, who was able to, it still has Borg ways, but was disconnected from the initial thing. Then you have Captain Picard becoming a Borg and then being disconnected too.
All right.
Like, it kind of goes the same place.
I can't talk too much about it, but from what I've heard from both people that are, so the one is the queen who controls them on, so she's definitely going to be different. That's the head boss. And then you have then you have the other two you brought up. Both were disconnected from the Borg, so they're going to be different. But the overall Borg that don't have those two factors, and we don't have.
We haven't
seen any.
They have no individuality.
Have factors like that yet. We've seen that they are individual. They have individual personalities between them.
Correct.
Now, I do believe there's someone controlling them, and they actually look and do exactly what this person tells them to do. But when we look at a full Borg mentality, from what we have seen, they have no personality. So that's why it's hard for me. Initial
first round Borg. The entire point was for them to have no individuality, and then the weirdness of then one person coming out of the Borg and gaining individuality and being completely shocked by it, and the freedom that it kind of renders, so to make us feel good about being individuals. So enough Star Wars, enough Star Trek. I mean, this is not a Star Trek show. And so my last little point. Because we were talking about what their motivation is.
Yes.
And I believe, I think that this whole idea of the hive mind is their motivation. There is no motivation, which is part of the punishment. They have to live inside these bodies on autopilot, doing these horrid things. And perhaps it may even be that we don't give Porn Stash and the chick any kind of benefit of the doubt, right? But what if that was her individual personality pushing out there, and she legitimately had feelings for him, but from the time the talisman was no longer in effect, all of that personality died, and she just became a killing machine.
Well,
I know that's probably not the case. Think about that.
I can answer that real quick because we've had the beautiful Molly Dunworth on the show, and I asked her just about that same exact question, and she said that it was from her instructions, from which she remembered, that everything she said was just game to get inside to kill him. So there was no feeling there.
There were no real feelings. So I mean, yeah, and I know that's the general. That's what I think too. But we can't necessarily 100% push it out to TV. But that's and in closing, I would ask, what would be something in season 4 that if you didn't see it, if you didn't get it, whether it be a revelation, a scene, a particular person, whatever it might be, what is something that if you didn't see it in season 4, you'd be completely disappointed? That's my little question. So perhaps you could answer that up. All right, everybody, have a good night, chat. I'm gonna see you guys later. Ciao.
All right, thanks, brother. I truly appreciate you calling in. I would always depend on KP. And if Kenny doesn't die, I will be very disappointed. That's personal, but so I would say, in fairness, and I'm just not playing around. I would say that they would have to show me a definitive. This season, I expect to see a definitive description of the boy in white's background. I expect to learn everything we need to know about the boy in white this season. If I do not get that, I would be disappointed. I need to know what's going on with the boy in white 100%, for the better or for worse. I need to know. They need to go into that background. They got into the monster's background. I don't need to know everything about the man in yellow yet because he's just got there. You don't got to give me that. You can give that to me next season. But the boy in white has been here for 3 seasons. It's time that we know exactly what the boy in white's motivation and what he's trying to do, the real story of it. So I need to know what's going on with the boy in white. I believe he's bad, and I believe he's Victor, and I think that's what it's going to be when it's already saying. But I would need that. You know what I mean? I would need that 100%. I would need that. So that is what I would. That's what I'm looking for this season. I need to see that and everything else. Listen, make sure you hit that, everybody. Make sure you hit that thumbs up for your boy. Number 1 show for the fans, by the fan, the Don Tony Teflon is in the building, rocking with you. You know what I mean? We have 90 people up in this piece on the off season. That's why y'all are my familiar. We have already given away 10 super chats. Let me see if I have the ability to give away some super chats to you. I'm going to see if I can pull up. If I can, I mean, some memberships. If I could do that, it's what? There must be something else open on my computer that I'm not seeing that's causing it to go this slow. Because there's no reason for my computer, as powerful as it is, to go this slow. And I hope it is not messing up the stream. I can't see it right now for this. There's no reason. My thing should be boom, boom, boom. And that's what usually I must have something open that I'm not seeing that's there that's slowing this thing down. And it's probably my video capturing software that's open. That's what I'm thinking it is. All right. I'm not. I'll still talk to you while I get all this stuff going on and stuff. While I do my best to get this stuff going on. So yeah. So real quick before we get back into it, I'll give you some updates on the Don Tony Teflon and Teflon TV. So we are coming into a very busy week for us this week. All right. We're coming into a very busy week. We're going to have to deal with Dexter starts this week. We're also going to be dealing with the Institute starts this week. So we'll be doing both shows, covering both shows and everything. Let me see if I can just get to this thing real quick. We'll be covering both shows. Be doing pregame shows for both shows. Be doing after shows and live streams during the week for both shows. So hopefully y'all can join the Don Tony Teflon Fill the Issues guy, the Lady LMR. Let me hit this real quick. It's done. Let me add this. Sorry, I didn't know that was gonna come in and stuff. Why am I so big on the screen? I didn't even look at myself. Now I'm looking at myself and everything else. Okay. There's a little dot. Should have shaved the beard down a little bit. Should have shaved it down a little bit and all that. And a little dog looking at myself there and everything else. All right. Let me see if I am here, if I'm able to I see some hearts and stuff going up. That's a good thing. I appreciate it. Let's see. Can we give some memberships here? Oh, let's do that for you right there. Booyaka. There we go. You gifted some memberships for people right there for tuning into the stream and showing some love and everything else, and I appreciate you. So yeah, we'll be doing. Oh, people say, well, you should leave them whiskers alone. You think so? You think so? If you say so, I appreciate it. All right, I appreciate it, and I'll definitely take it into consideration. I usually try to do the like the shadow beard. I try to keep it as the shadow, and that's what I try to do. Yeah, it's called. Yeah, is it called the Institute? It's on MGM. You know what I mean? It's on MGM. It comes out Sunday. I think it is called the Institution, or something like that. And then Dexter 2-episode drop comes on. We'll be out there and stuff. So we'll be doing that later this week. So we'll be doing Dexter, and we'll be doing now. As for interviews on these shows, again, now Dexter interviews, it's hard to do Dexter interviews. Number one, these people everyone on the show is a big star. All right, so I may be able to get a couple of, usually I'd be hitting people up straight up in the Instagram and they Twitter and just talking to them and shit. That's how I usually be doing it. But I will be a little bit more professional, and then I will see what we could do about getting some of the Dexter big name. I want to get Uma Thurman or Peter Dinklage. All right. I actually know somebody who is friends with Peter Dinklage, and I'll be using that to see if I can get Peter Dinklage. All right. I know someone who is personally connected to him. All right. So I'll try to do it, but I would love to get Uma. I would love to get any one of them on. Obviously, Michael C. Hall, if we could do it, we're going to do our best to do it. The Institute will do our best to do it. Fernandez T, thank you for the shoot back chat, my brother. I would call Doggy, but you you answered all my questions. I'm just happy to see you here. And I'm happy to see you here. I appreciate it. You know what I mean? Tony going to interview Acosta from her kitchen table. I would love to. I would love to. 100%. We'll see. You know what I mean? We'll get her on. We'll get her on eventually. We'll get her on. She can't. I'm undeniable. I'm like Thanos. I'm inevitable. You can't deny me. You can try, but you can't deny me. Why deny me when you could try me? All right. What's wrong with that? So we'll do our best to get actors from the shows to come on the pregame shows, the after shows, like always. I'm you know me, you know my style. I can get interviews with people, you know what I mean? But I'm really trying to get the interviews that y'all can be a part of too. And as I said, I've turned down. I could have had Harold. I could have had Jade. I could have had offered all these people before the last season started, and I turned it all down because people didn't want to come on and do it live. So I said, no, I'm not willing to do it. So that's why you didn't see all them. I was offered people, and I'm sure I'll be offered again, but I just, y'all, they can't come on live and rock with me and y'all, then I ain't trying to do it because it ain't about me. I don't do it and just think that it means something that I'm special because I got an interview with somebody. You know what I'm saying? It's about me doing something for y'all and giving y'all a chance to interact with the people you're watching on the screen. Really more about that than me actually doing the interview itself. So that is why if they can't rock like that with the Don, then I ain't trying to rock with them and stuff like that. Now, if it's a Costa, I might have to tweak a little, but I'm not. I'm gonna get an order for everybody. You know what I mean? Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I'm telling you, just trust your boy. Yeah, all right. Trust you. Have some faith in me. I'll get it done. I'll have to do a little bit more button-up approach to get these people from Dexter. But we're gonna get these people, and we'll get some people from Dexter on there. My man Doc Kaiju was just gifted a goddamn membership. Show Doc some love. Doc Kaiju, show that man some love. Whoever got that membership, show that man some love. The Harold interview, listen. So I've been a part of press junkets and dockets, and I've done interviews with people like that, and I've gotten 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and blah blah blah. And I've done those interviews. I did it with the cast of Game of Thrones. Did it with House of the Dragon. I did it with what was that movie? I did it with that movie, American Skin. I've been involved in all those things, you know what I mean? And I've done all that, and I understand, and it's a cool feeling to do it and everything else. And that's why if no one's experienced it, I expect that you should experience it and you should do it. And it's but where I am at on my YouTube journey, the position I'm in, where I'm at, is that I'm doing it my way. And that's it. And that's the way it's going down, man. I don't compromise. This is how I'm feeling. This is what I'm doing. I'm doing my way. Because it's not a big deal for me to do it. I just do it because I want y'all to interact. You know what I mean? And that's it. And I know that probably some of y'all don't think that the Don will say stuff to these people that I be saying on the stream right to their face. But you see, I do. I don't front, bro. This is who I am. This is what it be and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, hit that like button. When I looked over there, I seen like 70 likes, and we got like 100 people up in here, man. Come on, you can hit that like button for your boy and get this thing popping and stuff like that. So we'll do our best to get actors from both shows onto the after shows. But we're doing the pregame show, and we'll be doing the after show. The Dexter, we'll just do the after show. We probably won't do the pregame show for that, but the other one we will do a pregame show for Institute, and we'll do the after show for it. I don't know who do it. I got to speak to Phil if we want to go on directly right after, or if we want to just do it, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. I just got to talk to my boy and figure out exactly how we're doing. We'll do the after show. We'll do the pregame show. We'll get all that popping. We'll be doing the deck. So we should be very busy on the channel. For at least 8 weeks, 9 weeks? You know what I mean? And everything else. So that's the way we're going to do it. So make sure you subscribe to the channel. And if you could be a member. And then you have the chance to call in and ask these people questions, because we're going to have to switch it up and have it that member status allows you to call in and ask these people questions. Because, we had that one situation where dude was talking a little reckless, right? We can't have that again. I love him. I haven't seen him since, because I had to check him a little bit on it. But, I think he just got a little full for himself and stuff. And I understand it, but, you got to think this is business, man. You know what I'm saying? And you got to do a little bit better for your boy. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying. All right, we're going to get right back into this right now. We are 1 hour in. We'll go for another hour. 518-290-0848 is the number for you to call in and speak to the Don about everything. Again, no one has given me, we have talked about the hive mind and we have talked about motivations, but yet no one has come up with a motivation. I'm not telling you that I have. I'm saying we have not been able to figure that out. So let's keep continuing on this monster journey, talking about these monsters and what we have seen from the show in there, and what we have seen. It's all from the show, and what we have speculated on should be the better word for it. All right, we've seen when they go inside of the monster's place for the first time. Tabitha gets there, and Jay gets there. Victor gets there. Eventually, Jay makes his way in there. Tabitha is in there. We see that we find her having things there, inside of there. Now, one thing that she found there was a wedding dress. It was a wedding dress. Was it Miranda's wedding dress or someone before Miranda's wedding dress? We don't know. But she recognized it, or 90, if you want to say. She recognized it. She felt like if you way she looked at it, that she remembered it. All right? But it was in there. In the suitcase at this particular time, when we look at the labels on the suitcase that was in there, there is one label that stands, and that is the world. But we have a call coming in.
From.
Yo, this Clay.
To accept, press 1. To send.
What's going on? You're rocking with the Don, Tony Teflon. Who we talking to? Where you calling from?
What's going on, my boy? This Clay. I'm calling from out of North Carolina.
That's what's up, North Carolina. Where you at? Where you at in North Carolina? If you don't mind.
I'm in a rural area by like Rocky Mountain. It's like the borderline between Virginia and a little town called Roanoke Rapids.
Roanoke Rapids. That's where my family from, son.
Yeah.
So my whole family.
Oh my God! My whole family is from down.
We just had a reunion, the Hawkins family reunion. We just did it out there.
You're a Hawkins?
Yes, I'm a Hawkins.
Hold on. Before we get to this family talk, we might be real family for real. So you related to are you related to the twins?
Yeah, yes, yeah. Look, you can see me, right? Look right here. Look right here. Look on the screen. Look what I'm showing.
I'm looking.
You see?
It's all good, Sonic, man. I know, man. Hold on.
You see that? That's the family book.
Halifax County. That's where my whole family is from. Hold on, man.
Yeah, that's the whole. He just made a new edition. It's yellow this year and stuff.
The Black Hawkins. Is that a book?
Yeah. Cousin Terrence made this book, bro. He made the whole.
What the hell is going on tonight? What the fuck?
Yeah, he made it. We just did the Hawkins family reunion. We just did it, man. It just happened.
That's dope. I never, bruh. That's actually crazy. I never met somebody on YouTube that said, "Hey, I'm from Roanoke Rapids too," and I know Hawkins, like,
yeah,
because it's Hawkins and Gaston.
Yeah,
Roanoke Rapids.
Yeah, my mother's and Allen. That's her maiden name is Allen, right? So that's basically Hawkins is our family from Luther Hawkins, but her maiden name. My grandfather was Linwood Allen. My grandmother was Annie Allen. She actually, before she passed away, she was the oldest living Hawkins family line from all that and everything. But yeah,
right.
But no, my mom's she has 5 brothers and 6 sisters. And my Aunt Josephine, your Aunt Joe, she lived out there. Her son just passed away. Rest in peace, cousin. But she still lives out there and everything. I said, my aunt out there, I got land out there and everything else and all that stuff, man.
Man, yeah, hey, man, like on nothing like creepy, bro. Hey, it's crazy, man. Like I be trying to tell my family. I put my aunts on it because my aunt's kind of old, so they like to watch a bunch of westerns and soap operas and stuff like that. And I try to put them on the from. They watched the first season. They've been hooked ever since.
That's what's up.
Man, that's. But yeah, no. Okay, I'm trying to stay on subject, man. I can't believe this, but you were talking about what's the motivation behind the monsters, right?
Yes.
I honestly believe the motivation, and the more I watch the show, is the more I think of predeterminism. Everything has its own path, no matter how small it is, no matter how big it is. I think whoever enters in or from, and if I don't think the monsters have motivation. I think the people or the entities behind the monsters got the motivation. Monsters, they just there to stir shit up a little bit. They really don't have no intellect. They can talk, they can do this and do that, but you can see when they unalive Tien Chin that they listen to a couple of people. They all don't have a mind of their own, and that's when the hive mind kick in. You see how Cowboy said, "Hey, hold on," and then they looked at him before they continued to do what they was doing to Tien Chin, like torturing her or whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, they stopped for a second and looked at the Cowboy and was like, "What you want us to do? How are we supposed to be doing this?" So it kind of showed they lack motivation. I think the entities that's behind them are the ones that has the real motivation. So like I said, everything is predetermined.
Yeah, I could see it both ways, right? So when they went in there, they specifically said, "You said that we couldn't break you," right? That was that motivation to do this to Boyd, and they were trying to break Boyd. Now they didn't want to kill him; they just wanted to break him to the will. So they were not around when he said that. So whoever he heard him say that obviously communicated to them to do the dirty work for them. But I do believe that when they're in there, you can see the different ones acting different. You can see that the one who was the monster, he was more cocky. The other ones were more brutish when they ripped Boyd's shoulder and everything else and all that. You know what I mean? So they did have a little bit. They were following orders to break him, but they did have their own type of personality behind it while they were doing it. And when we look at the hive minds that we've seen on television and all that, it seems that none of them have any personality, but these people do. So I do think they're taking orders from the top, but I don't believe that it's an effective hive mind.
And but see, like you said, like a couple got personalities, like the lady when the lady monster, when Victor goes into the cave and she was like, "Hey, you keep coming down here. One of these days we will make you stay."
Yes.
I just felt like she's probably like part of this big three, like they have of some sort with the monsters in itself. You know what I'm saying? Because she has personality. Her, Cowboy, and Smiley seems like the three. The big three that actually can go outside the box and control them.
You also see you also seen the nurse dangle the keys in front of Boyd and was like, "You want these?" and shook it, but we're gonna keep Randall.
Oh, facts. Yeah, her too. Yeah. Okay, yeah, I forgot about her. Yeah, that's facts. Yep.
So I would think that all of them have their own personality, but we just been focusing on the ones they've shown us. But the fact that they've shown us that, we have to believe that they all have some type of personality behind them.
I believe that. I think that too. What do you think?
We seen when the black dude was out there with his woman, the one put the hand out and he started shaking hands with the monster before he got killed.
Fast.
You know.
He did.
You know, so we all have to. We got to look at that they have some type of personality, and if they and if they have some type of personality, then you know that the hive mind can't be that. Are they taking orders from someone over the top who was able to hear what Boyd said when no one else was around? 100%. You know what I mean? They said this play. They said they didn't say we can't break you. They said this. You said this place can't break you. Right? So they didn't they taking it personal. Like, "Oh, you said I can't break you, son. I'll break your ass right now." You know what I mean? They're like, "You said this place couldn't break it." Right? So we're gonna show you. We're gonna break you on it. You know what I mean? So that's the way I look at it when we deal with that.
I mean, the hive mind situation, I think, the hive mind is kind of funny in certain situations, like in Venom, for instance.
Yep.
Venom, they don't really have to open up their mouths physically to communicate. They could, like, one soak in the information and another one get the information just by the prime mind collecting that information. So I like when in that episode when they unalive Tien Chin, you notice how the milkman didn't do nothing to Jay. He just rips open the cow's throat, right?
Mhm.
But he screams after he does it. I think that's like, there's not a hive mind if they, you know, have the talk to actually get information across. You get what I'm saying?
100%. 100%.
So I like it happens in different ways. Maybe that's just how it plays in the show, but in other shows and comics and movies, like they just collect information and other people just get it.
Yeah, and we didn't see that superhuman strength on these monsters when they were in there with Boyd. Boyd pushed a couple of them on the floor. You know, in the beginning, when you see him go into the box, they breaking through the walls in the box and everything else. But Boyd was able to physically manhandle a couple of them. They had to handcuff him to hold him there, or they would have been struggling.
It was about 3 of them.
Yeah, and if 3 of them would take 3 to hold Boyd back, then we're not dealing with creatures that have this superhuman strength that they just can just grab people up and toss them. There's none of that going on there.
Nah. I don't think. Now, the man in yellow, I think he's a different type of,
Yeah,
you know, he has a different type of strength. But as far as the monsters, you're right. I honestly don't think they have super strength at all.
Yeah.
Maybe like, you know, some type of durability, but I don't see them being super like human strong.
yeah. Now you
like
could
that.
drop
So,
kick
yeah,
one
I
of those
agree.
monsters. They could be drop kicked.
For sure. You can show slam them. But see, I'm still not trying to test that out though, because when they like you one fight one, you gotta fight them all. I'm good. I'm staying out the way.
There's a reason why there ain't no black people in this show like that, because they wouldn't be able to fuck with. Listen, they couldn't catch us. Are you correct? I was running laps.
They wouldn't be able to catch me if they run it. Y'all walking, and y'all not gonna catch me. And that's why I don't think Ellis is useful, because it's like like you said the other night with Elgin, like as soon as he found out that Elgin made them little remarks about Fatima, he should have immediately got him in that revel when they was chilling. What's that place called with the water?
The Brundles.
The Brundles. He should have immediately, you know, took action then.
100%.
But he wanted to go back to Boyd, and I agree. That's one of the people I think he's just not useful. I think he's not gonna make it out of season 4.
No, he out of here. I think he dies too, 100%. Nah, listen, man, ain't no heart in that man. Because if you did that to my shorty, and I knew my shorty was missing, and I knew you knew, or even suspected from what you said, and suspected enough that you want to go back and you want to tell your father. Like, listen, I ain't gonna tell my father nothing. I'm gonna handle this right now. Let's give me a handle.
Nah,
I ain't got to tell
for real. And then wait till he get in there to be like, "Oh, where's my wife?" And
yeah, then all of a sudden you want
choke him out and stuff. Nah.
Yeah. Listen, we've been in situations where dudes do it now. You lucky they holding me back. You lucky. And 2 girls holding them back and shit. Every 2 girls like, you don't want none of this, right? Don't hold you back.
Oh yeah, hey, we all been through it. Hell, we all been through it. We men, hell.
Of course, you all been through. You all see that, and that was that same situation that Ellis was doing. He ain't trying to get to him. If he wanted to get to him, he would have been able to get to him.
Because I would have got to him, and I'm trying to tell you, he would have took a bath in the Brundles that day. Because he ain't took a bath since season 2, so he would have took a bath that day. You mess with my woman like that. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, I call him Elgin Smelgin for a reason, man. He's going in the water.
There's no doubt. He definitely been waterboarded. He would definitely had to go right back in that tub. He would have had to. I would have. And shout it's my man Nate. So shout out to my man that we ain't talking about. You know we ain't talking. We just talking about the character guy there.
I'm just saying. Yeah, like, it ain't going down.
Those are straight facts. It's a straight fact. But he would have got handled. Like I said it before, when he just sat there and let Boyd just rope him up to the chair. Like, what are you doing? You're not roping me up to the chair. I'm just gonna sit there.
We fight. Yeah, for sure. But I mean, in that case, I understood Boyd, but Elgin was acting terrified. Like, no, Boyd, you can't do this, boy. Like, man, you got hands, you got arms, you got weight. Man, you better push your ass out of there.
You would have had to kill. You would have took everybody in there to wrap me up. I'm just not gonna sit there and take it and allow it to happen and try to convince him not to do it. You know, it's not.
But look, I'm gonna point out something that I ain't see you talk about. But you notice the pattern that some of the characters got in the show, right? Like you remember the dude that Jay was seeing in the forest, right? That was drinking from the skull.
Yep.
Now look at Elgin. When I rewatched the show, I was like, hold on, let me rewatch the show right quick. Elgin goes and fills up a jar. It's not a skull per se, but it's a jar of blood, and he feeds that to Fatima.
Mm-hmm.
You got one eye Elgin, then you got the one eye vision that Jade is having. I hope they go into the connection of, because I honestly feel like everything in this town is predetermined. If you were sent there in Elgin's case, if you were sent there to lose an eye and to kidnap Fatima, that's what you gonna do. No matter what, that's what you gonna do.
Mm-hmm. I feel you. Listen, yeah, the vision, the guy was tied up to the tree. Elgin was tied up to the chair. The guy was missing an eye. Elgin wound up missing an eye. The guy was drinking blood. Elgin had Fatima drinking blood. So they're all 100% connections to that whole situation.
I just hope they dive. I hope they dive deeper into that, man. Like that.
Yeah, they got to go
throw the connections on.
They got to go through that 100%. They got to expand on that little town. They have to let us know. It just can't be a one-off. There has to be something else going on. We heard the sounds outside. They never explained that. You don't know how the food got planted there. There's a lot they have to explain about that little town over there, and hopefully they do this next season.
Nah, for sure, man. I ain't gonna hold you, man. I'm gonna keep back. I'm gonna go back to your stream, man. I just want to call and chop it up, man. But look, I'm definitely gonna go keep in touch with you, man.
No doubt. Listen, if you hit me up on Facebook. I'll talk to you about the family and stuff like that. We'll see what I'll show you exactly everything I got on the family and all that.
I got you, bro. I'm gonna definitely hit you. Your name still is Tony Teflon on Facebook, right?
Yeah, Tony Teflon Bowers.
All right, bet. I got you. I'm gonna definitely hit you up, brother.
All right, brother.
All right, now you have a good one.
You too. One.
All right, no problem.
That's an A+ call right there and everything else. And yeah, when you deal with it, again, we have to consider that creature that we seen on that vision from Jade as a monster. We could also go into the puppet. That wasn't a puppet. Now, was that disappointing for everybody that we have gotten visions of a puppet the whole time, a talking puppet the whole time from Jade from the jump, screaming. And it turned out in the end that it was the boy in white talking, not the puppet. Was that disappointing for y'all? And I'm asking y'all, because to me, in all honesty, that was disappointing. Like I didn't appreciate that. Like from the beginning, you had him with this puppet and everything else, and then at the end, it wasn't a puppet; it was the boy in white. Why were you showing Jade the puppet to begin with? What was the reason? Now, I gave the whole thing about dude before it all happened that he used to use this, and this is how. Let me shut this down real quick because I don't know what's going on. Let me shut that down too. All right, because I just didn't like the way that was handled. Just the fact that the puppet led nowhere. It just to me. It just didn't make sense to me for it to lead nowhere. I thought they could. I understand when people say Jade used to own the puppet. I guess we could take it there. And Jade used to own the puppet, but in the end, we were being led to believe that the puppet had the answers in it, and this is the whole reason why Victor went down in there to get the puppet. And everything else. It wasn't the puppet that jarred Jade's memory into knowing what he was or who he used to be. If they would have used the puppet for that, then you could say Jade grabbed the puppet and all of a sudden put his hand up the puppet's ass and all of a sudden started the puppet dancing around and shit like that. Then you could say, all right, jarred his memory. But to me, it was kind of a waste for it. I didn't like it. Just didn't go anywhere. That story led nowhere. In the end, it was just all right. Victor thought he saw the puppet Jasper talking, but it wasn't Jasper. It was really the boy in white. Just didn't work for me. All right. So we'll go back. Even though we can consider the puppet a monster too. Jason says because Christopher used it to make the kids laugh. Yeah, but what does that have to do with the story for Jade? Again, if you wanted to say that the puppet made Jade remember that he was Christopher, then fine, the puppet served the purpose. But the puppet didn't do that. Jade didn't realize he was Christopher till way after. A long time later, or at the end, with the Anakui. If the puppet was screaming Anakui, then we could have done something with it. You know what I mean? But the puppet really didn't lead to anything, lead to any recollection or anything like that. And the whole hunting and going down inside of the monster's tunnels just to get Jasper. And we can talk about that. Since we're here in the tunnels, let's go. They had the whole tea set up for the puppet down there, sitting down there. They have a bird cage down there. They had a bicycle, a bird cage. They had an old-fashioned TV. They had all these things down there in the end, and didn't lead no. You guys are on fire right now. On fire. Let's get this call. Let's take it.
From
Rose.
to accept, press 1.
You are rocking with the Don Tony Teflon. Please tell the people who you are and where you're from.
Hello, this is Rose Jones. I'm from Brooklyn, New York.
Brooklyn in the building. What's going on, Rose? How's everything? What part
Good,
of
good.
Brooklyn you from? What part? If you don't mind me asking, what part of Brooklyn you from?
I'm in Flatbush.
Oh, you're in Flatbush. See, I used to deal with this dude over there. I used to rap out there. I used to go to Gates Avenue on the J train, and there was a dude out there named Blue Nile, and he used to make all my beats. And I used to rhyme with him, and there was this dude T1 and Divine, and I would go out there and chill out there and on Gates Avenue rapping back in the day, drinking Midnight Dragon and shit.
That's hard looking. You made some memories drinking Midnight Dragon.
Yeah. That shit used to be a
bottle full of.
It was one.
That bottle was full of poor decisions.
Yeah, that shit was $1 for 32 ounces. So
that's like right there with Crazy Horse.
Yeah, crazy. I was just talking to people about Crazy. People don't know what Crazy Horse was, and I was trying to explain to them about Crazy Horse. It was no joke, man. Crazy Horse, they weren't playing. And the people who make the Arizona iced tea are the people who made Crazy Horse. They stopped doing Crazy Horse and they switched to Arizona iced tea.
Oh well, they need to come back with something. Crazy Horse used to be hitting way back when.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
I had a question. Like, I'm pretty sure Elgin gonna die this season. Just because everything that's going down. But do you think Sarah gonna kill him, or do you think the monsters is gonna get him?
Yeah, I think that they were gonna do it with Sarah. They would have already done it. I mean, there's really not a lot of evidence that he is alive. He could have just died from the bleed out, or maybe he doesn't. I mean, if there was eye back in and just cut it, Christy gets there in time, could save him. We don't know. But if he is alive, I think they did it already with Sarah, so it wouldn't make sense for him to go back to that because they wanted to do it. They should have just did it then. So it would have to be the monsters eventually take him out and stuff. I would think if they could go that way, it would be the monster, the ones that he tried to trust, that he thought that was good, that would be the one to take him out in the end.
Oh, so he might be like Smiley's first meal.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like you need some nourishment, little newborn. You go Elgin.
Yeah, well, that lady that gassed him up may come back and really kill him this time. You know what I mean?
No.
I understand, man. it appears he hasn't showered in such a long time and changed his clothes, but he was drowned in the tub by something, so we can understand him being a little paranoid about it.
Yeah, but I don't think nobody really cared about their hygiene too much in that show, because you see Acosta was running around in her uniform for days on end. It's like,
yeah,
how many massacres you gonna be a part of before you shower, shorty? Like, you know,
100%. She said straight up, I don't want no clothes. I ain't trying to get comfortable up in here.
But also with this hive mind thing, is it like The Last of Us? Like, if you kill one of them, all of them feel it and they know? Because you know, in The Last of Us, if you step on one little vine a whole mile away, here come the cordyceps. You know,
yeah.
So is it like that in the same sense? Like, if you kill one monster,
yeah,
the rest of them flock?
It wouldn't be, because when Smile Monster died, none of them else was affected.
Oh, okay. All right. Because, you know, when they say hive mind, it's like so many different ways that could go. So I'm like, they didn't seem like they cared too much when Smiley got killed. Like, there was no rage, there was no emotion or nothing. It was like, all right, we're going to turn around and walk away.
But they gave more emotions. And when he came back, they were all smiling. Like they knew it was gonna happen, and they all just standing there smiling, and they smiled. They gave more emotions then, and he gave his smile and everything else. But when he killed, they were just like, oh, whatever.
Well, maybe he's the real ringleader, and the cowboy was like the interim leader while he was down or something. You know?
Yeah, it's possible. It's possible when you know, he's Mr. McGuire, who plays. You know, he was just put on there as an extra. He captivated the fans, and that's why they gave him a bigger role than he has. So it's possible. I never looked at him, but he was the one who killed Victor's mother. You know what I mean? So he's been around there for a long time. I guess it's better to make him kill Victor's mother to bring everything together, so that we know instead of making it some random person, they have it be Smile Monster. You know, it could just be that. But maybe so, but we don't really hear him running his mouth. That cowboy monster has ran his mouth more than any of these monsters ever have.
No, yeah, that's true. He get a lot of screen time, especially like him on the bus, and you know, that was kind of cool seeing how they was fascinated with our modern technology. Because a lot of them look like they stepped out of the 50s or 60s, especially like that jock zombie, the jock monster, the one that was trying to holler at Julie. He had like a whole 1960s jock get up.
Yeah,
you know.
They got to address that whole situation when he says, Julie, you don't remember me. Julie's got to go back in time and meet him, maybe before he gets changed. That she goes back there and meets him, because again, they haven't addressed how the monsters know everything about them. We know that they know everything about them. Again, when Elizabeth Saunders came on the channel, she said the most creepiest thing about them is that they know everything about you. So how do all the monsters know everything about every person in there?
Oh, maybe Julie was pillow talking with him at one point in time.
Maybe she went back in the day. You know what I mean? And didn't see nothing wrong with a little bump and grind.
See how warm that body really is, right?
Maybe she broke it through before, you know. Maybe she's a portion that she almost got there, but she really got there. Got caught him before all this happened. She goes back before this happened. She talks to him. Maybe she tries to warn him about what's going on, but he doesn't believe her, and it still goes down with him.
Gotcha. All right. Well, I'll let other folks call in. I don't want to dominate too much, but I'm enjoying the stream.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much.
All right. All
right. Shout out to Rose calling in and everything else. Truly appreciate that. You know what I mean? Giving super chat and all that stuff. Getting the memberships for everybody in there. Really appreciate that 100%. You know what I mean? And everything else. So yeah, when we look at those situations, Casa has only been there a couple of days, so she ain't gonna be woofing yet. You know what I mean? And again, we all gotta remember, this is only happening. Everything that we have seen is only happening within a week. Nothing has happened like 2 months or anything. It's boom, 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 boom. This is all just going down. 1, 2, 3, 4. You can count the days and see how long it's been. Or there, it's not that long for them that all this is going down. It's not like before they were there for years and they were there for all this time. But what we're seeing on the screen is all happening within a matter of weeks from what we see. It's just a matter of weeks, all this stuff just coming to a head right now after all the time that they have spent there, right? So that is what we see. Boyd and them there, yes, 90 days, no people getting attacked. But when as soon as Tabitha gets there, it's been weeks since she's got there and all this stuff happens and everything else and all that. All right. So again, dealing with the monsters, and I don't think I've touched on everything with the monsters, but dealing with the monsters, we don't know their motivation. We have talked, so we have to now turn to, and so we've done just about everything with the regular monsters. We're going to turn to the man in yellow for this last half an hour. And Costa is probably a little musty in that uniform. That's all right. I got it. Don't worry about it. I could tell you some nightmare stories, but no. We can work around it. So we can work around it. Now I don't know about. Listen, I ain't trying to Stefan Diggs, Cardi B, nobody, right? If y'all know what I mean. All right, let me grab a drink. I'll be right back. Singing fucking R. Kelly now. I'm over here singing, bumping, grinding shit, walking around. All right, I gotta think of that. All right, I'm back, and yes, oh god damn you. I know that y'all can hear me and stuff like that. I'm over here singing, fucking, bumping, grinding shit. Still a great song. Let's turn our attention to the man in yellow. Oh, let's take a couple of things before we go into it. It says here from Samuel, Trudy and Christy are the best from girls. Honorable mention Sarah and Jasmine. Jasmine's gorgeous. Trudy is gorgeous. Chrissy is gorgeous too. They're all beautiful women. They're all beautiful women. Sarah is a gorgeous. I mean, for me personally, if you're asking for the Don's body type and type, they're all a little small for me. I'm a black man, so Acosta would be, and obviously, I would say that I can't think of a name right now, but Jim's wife is obvious. Tabitha is of an appropriate age, so I would rock with that, and all that 100%. It's a wait up. You're black. I will say this. All right, let me. All right. So since someone said this, and this is something I probably shouldn't say on the stream, but I'm going to say it anyway. All right. So Sam says skinny girls deserve some love too. They do. So all right, 100% they do. So I'll say this. I work with this dude. His name was actually Tony too, the Italian dude, older guy, Italian guy. And this is exactly what happened. So he was with me, and we were out on route. And this is a while when I was at a previous job, and we were out on route, and I was just getting to know him and stuff, you know. And we started talking. Old Italian guy, real fun. I love Tony. Right. I miss him. Now I'm thinking about this, but this is exactly what he said to me. And I swear to you, this is exactly the way it went down. So we're driving, and he goes, says something to me. It says something to me like, "Oh, blah 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 blah. Some chick at the job liked me, blah blah blah." And I was like, "Nah, I can't rock with her. She's too skinny for the dime." And he was like, "Oh, you don't like skinny girls?" He's like, "I love them skinny girls. I love them." He said, "Listen, I've slept with a couple of crackheads because they're skinny, and it was great." He said, "You know why?" And this is exactly how it happened. I promise. I'm gonna do the exact motion that he did to me. Right. So I am him. The camera is me. All right. And he goes, "Oh, I slept with a couple of crackheads because they're skinny. You know why? Because when you bend them over, they're all asshole. And that's what I'm after." He leaned right in my face when he said it. He leaned right in my face. I missed that dude. He's mad funny. He's like, the roll a-hole, and that's what I'm after. And his whole voice changed and everything else when he said it. He's like, and that's what I'm after. Oh, he wasn't playing. No, he was dead serious. He was dead serious. He was not playing. So yeah, listen, they need love too, and everything, and that's it. I'm a black man. You know, I got to have something wiggling back there to get me into it. But that's besides the point. Let's get back to the show. I won't edit that out. We'll leave that in there and stuff for everybody and stuff like that. But that's really happened and stuff and all that stuff. So yeah, he definitely hit the Batman voice on that and everything. All right, let's get back to business. The man in yellow. Let's go into him. From what we know about the man in yellow, how he showed up, we don't know. But we do know that he was on the intercom when Jim was on there. And he told Jim to tell his wife to stop digging that hole. Now, how he was able to see the hole that she was digging from inside the house in the basement, we have no idea. But we know that he's seen it. Now, the fact that he was able to see, so we have to assume that unless there's cameras there, he is able to see through buildings, through the ground, and everything. And if he was able to see that, then he has to be able to know that she fell down in the hole and found the monster's lair. Now, we all assume that he is in control of the monsters. Are the monsters preset to wake up at certain times all the day or not? Because if he knows they're down there because he was able to see them digging the hole and he knew that's where they're going to end up, how come he just didn't have the monsters sitting there waiting for them to kill them? How come he just didn't have them awake if that wasn't the case and everything else was going on there? You know what I mean? And so if that's what it is, and he knows all this stuff, he should have been able to take them out right away. But we also know that who else knew that they were down there? And the answer is the boy in white. The boy in white knew they were there also. And he knew that they would be safe if they stayed there at that particular time. Now, does that mean that the boy in white is a good person? Or does that mean that the boy in white is the man in yellow in the end? Again, we have two characters with specific colors. Two of them. You have the boy in white, you have the man in yellow suit. Are they one of the same person? Just split into two different time periods. Does the boy in white grow up, if you want to say grow up, to become the man in yellow? Okay, let's look at the man in yellow. When we see the man in yellow, from the drawing that we see, that's on my thumbnail, from the picture of him that we see him, that is inside of Victor's father's basement, he is not the same man in yellow we are introduced to. This is a young man in that picture. His suit is crispy clean. It looks like he has a little scar on his face, but that could just be from the painting, but it doesn't. But his suit is clean. She's drawing these pictures of this man in yellow before she arrived in Fromtown. Now, we've had Doug Hugh on the channel. And Doug Hugh has told the story of the man in yellow and what inspired him. And it would inspire him, the person to make it, was that the guy said he remembers seeing a person in yellow suit, and he looked like he was on top of the world. And then he came back some months later and he seen the same guy in the same suit, but the suit was beaten up, broken down, and over. And he said to himself, damn, what could have happened that made this guy's life go from so high to so low? Now, we have been shown the low point, if we're going to use this metaphor, when he kills Jim. We've seen the high point in the picture that was painted. But we don't understand what got them to converge on this situation at this same time. So are we saying that the man in yellow that she drew, painted the painting of, was he in Fromville when she painted that picture? Did she paint it from some memory in Fromville? And that means he's walking around Fromville with a crispy clean suit. Now, we've seen all the monsters, they have that glamour where they can project that. But the first time they show him to us, he's not in that glamour. He's in the regular form that we know. None of the other monsters that we see that had conversations with anybody in the show has ever had a conversation when they're in that fucked up form. Every time they have had conversations with the people in the show, they have always been in their glamored form, their crispy clean form, right? See, some of y'all probably never even caught that, right? Y'all didn't catch. Don't act like y'all caught it. Y'all probably didn't even catch that until you heard the Don say it right now, right? But none of them have ever been fucked up looking when they're talking. They've always been in the good form, right? But we see this guy in the fucked up form, and he's talking regular. That Jade sure can play. Now, they have to give us the backstory. Did she meet this guy? Now, every other painting that we've seen that was in that basement was from stuff that all happened in Fromville. Was all there. So then you have to ask yourself that most likely that this picture of the man in yellow was from Fromville. So going by that story, the guy looked like he was on top of the world. What happened to make him go down? Is he the guy that convinced all the regular town members to take the deal? Or is he the genie, the djinn in this whole situation who gave the bad wish? But if he did give the bad wish, why is he deteriorating? Are they harvesting, we talked about this before, these organs for him? Does he need these to survive, or maybe recapture his youth that he had? Because when we seen him, he wasn't young like he was in that picture. Something happened and made him go from that young guy to this older person who has fucked up teeth and some goddamn some bad scarring on his cheek. What happened there? What was going on there? Are these organs that he's harvesting, he's looking for a specific person, specific blood type, specific bloodline that he needs to maybe take that form again, to go back to being there. And then when dealing with that whole situation, we also, real quick, I did mess up real quick. Don doesn't mess up. I said that everything that she painted was from inside the From universe. But there was the bottle tree that she painted. The bottle tree that she had outside of her house, that she had inside of the park that they were trying to get to. That main bottle tree. Right? So that was in the real world, the bottle tree. And then it transferred over into the From world. Right? So did she make that bottle tree out there because she seen the bottle tree in the From world? Or did she make that bottle tree and that because she made it, it transferred her into the From world? Now, that is what we have to try to unpack in everything else. And that's what it comes down to. Again, if we would have got to that bottle tree in the real world, it would have shut everything down. There's a reason why they stopped that from happening, because that bottle tree is the key to all this stuff. That one bottle tree she made in that one spot is the key to everything. And again, when we look at this whole situation and we try to figure out exactly what's going on, whether it's a Harold in the purple crayon situation. If y'all never read Harold in the purple crayon situation, let me explain to you. There's a little white boy with a bald head named Harold. He had a purple crayon. And when he drew stuff with this purple crayon, these things he drew came to life. And that's basically what goes on with Harold in this purple crayon. I believe that these people are inside of a dream realm. As if you said, if you've watched Sandman, you understand what a dream realm is. And that whatever they manifest in their mind, or people do, it comes to life. I believe Miranda manifested the bottle trees because she put the bottle trees that she made in the real world, they got transferred into that world. Now you can deal with what came first, the chicken or the egg. Did she get the vision that caused her to build it? And then it got transferred there because of that. You'll never be able to go to answer that question. Which one came first? That could be the paradox of the whole situation. And that is why I think that when Sarah said that her brother was afraid as the caddy is, that we seen them in the show. He manifests that from his fear and his dream, and that's why that's there. I know somebody asked what's going on with the hotel. What I believe happened is that the person who manifested the hotel never went inside the hotel or seen the hotel, but they seen the hotel sign and they seen the pool, and they manifested that hotel into that place. Again, when we look at Tabitha's situation, when she seen the rocks that were in there, did she see those rocks and put them there from the dream? Like she dreamt that, of that, but when she looked up, she couldn't see what it was, or those rocks in the dream, the reason they put them there. Again, when you hear Boyd's wife, she said that she dreamt of this place. And then she was there. Who was she on the outside world? Boyd's not supposed to be there. They didn't do it to get Boyd. They did that to get Boyd's wife. And Boyd and Ellis were just there. Just like when they brought that bus in there, they didn't plan on getting Elgin and everybody else and Bata and everyone else and Randall. They were after Chrissy's girlfriend to cause chaos. And everybody else on that bus is just collateral fucking damage. And they brought her up in there. So I think that these dreams that people are having are manifesting themselves in this dream realm that they're in. People took these wish from this evil dream genie. He corrupted them and they got their wish, but they didn't get it in the way that they wanted. Good chance that that's what's going on. It's also a good chance that this is an experiment, that someone has captured somebody. And again, there's a movie, I cannot think of the movie now, Real Theories and Enigmas. When I made up this whole theory, he told me about a movie that I should watch. And I watched that movie. And that movie was almost dead to rights on. Again, if we're dealing, and so shout outs to Real Theories and Enigma. I haven't spoke to that brother in a long time, but hopefully everything is going on good with him. But I think that, most likely this is what's going on. It's going to be one of these things. I promise you that. It's going to be an experiment with some government officials that was able to stumble upon some alien technology and able to do all this, tap into people's dreams. And again, you may say, oh, dreams, how are you going to? They did it in Inception. They did it in that. That was all science, how they were able to get into people's dreams. It's either going to be that, or it's going to be some type of evil genie or fairy that was able in there and put them in there, and they're testing these people, putting them in a different type of a dimension, a different realm, some type of pocket universe, and they're running their own experiments on these humans for whatever, and harvesting these organs because they're searching for someone or something that they keep doing it. In the end, when you figure out what the motivations for these monsters are, that is when you will figure out exactly what is going on. So that is my video. I will give you out. We have 7 minutes left before I go off. If anyone has any questions, I will take any questions. And if anyone was turned off by my life, I should be turned off. He said that shit to me. Right? I thought it was hilarious. Hopefully y'all feel the same way. If you have any questions for me, I'll take them right now and everything else. And you don't have to call in. I would like to, but if you don't want to, it's fine. We'll go through the chat real quick for these next 7 minutes. The drawings in the cave. You think one of them tells story walkers and ends up drawing those on the caves as a kind of message to themselves or others in the future, done by Victor's sister. Again, we can explain away everything in this place by story walking. I have a video already done about Julie's story walking, every possibility that could be story walk. But again, when the drawings came down, I asked the question specifically when they were there: how did these monsters do these drawings? How do we know the monsters did these drawings? Where did they get the stuff to do these drawings? So I don't believe that the monsters did the drawings. I do believe it was one of the people in there leaving a map for people in there. We just gotta figure out exactly who it's gonna be. Rose, who in your family in North Carolina makes moonshine? I have so much family in North Carolina. In Roaring Rapids over there, my cousin owns like a winery out there. He has like a bunch of grapes. He owns a winery out there and stuff. So I won't say wine is moonshine and stuff like that and all that, but I have just so much family out there. Again, my mother has so many brothers and sisters and everything, and between the Allens and the Hawkins and everyone else in between, it's too much. I don't know everybody. It's too much, but I believe I'm sure people make everything that they can make out there and all that good stuff, without a shadow of a doubt. I don't think it's aliens or governments, maybe interdimensional beings. Jay brought up dimensional rims. Again, if you're talking about interdimensional beings, then you're talking about aliens. That's the same thing. Right? And I've said it could be beings. If we look at everything that has been done, and I've said it, and y'all watched the videos, everything that has been done can be explained away by a fourth dimensional being. A fourth dimensional being will be able to see through the house, see into the basement, and see everything. A fourth dimensional being will be able to push a house down, and you would see the effects of the house going down, but would not be able to see what's actually pushing it. A fourth dimensional being would be able to go inside that girl's chest and rip her chest open, and you wouldn't see her ripping the chest open. You would just see the after effects of her chest being ripped open while it's happening at that particular time. But again, that is an alien. Anything not from Earth is an alien. And if you watch Nightmare on Elm Street, when someone was in the dream realm, right, you seen in the real world what happened to that body, but you could not see Freddy doing it. Again, the famous scene is the girl being pulled all the way up the wall and on the ceiling and then back into the bed. And you could just see her body moving around and everything else. And that was it. That's what we were able to see. So I believe that that's what's going on and everything else. All right, here from Veronica. Do you think Kimono Woman, the boy in white, and the dog are all manifestations of the entity? I think that 100% the boy in white, the man in yellow, with the dogs are all, and Victor are all connected. And you can throw Sarah in that bitch too. They are all connected in some way. I promise you that is what's going on here. When it's all said and done, you will see it. The boy in white, the man in yellow, the man in purple. I mean, listen, this is what it is. Again, it could be Victor, could be Harold. And this world could be his purple crayon that he's created from everything that we've seen. It could all be the boy in white could be a manifestation of Victor just wanting a friend or someone to talk to when he was there by himself, and he could have manifested him in the dream world. Could have done all that stuff. That is what it seems like to me when it's all said and done. All right. Fair enough, semantics. Yeah, I get you. But you know what I'm saying. Anything from not the Earth is considered alien. That's the definition of it and stuff like that. Link, why is Victor's dad there? Because the boy in white wanted him there. He's the one who sent Tabitha out. It was the boy in white. And what did Tabitha do while she was out there? The only thing she did positive, that if you want to say it, is she brought back Akasa. I appreciate that 100%. But for the show purposes, it's bring back Victor's father. Again, we've seen that they were willing to bring in this chick's girlfriend just to fuck Kenny up from getting any ass. So a boy in white wanted his daddy back in town. And he can't leave that place. And this is what got him back. She sent her out there. He said specifically to Tabitha, this is the only way. The only way of what? The only way. This is the only way. The only way you can retrieve my father and bring my father back. This is the only way I can do it. And that's what she did. And that's what she achieved. Well, thank you, No Context. I appreciate you showing up in here. And again, I'm here every week talking from. All right, we every week. We're doing this every week. Again, later on the week. Dexter, start that. We'll get that done. Resurrection. First 2 episodes. We'll be doing the after show, and I'll be dropping the video for it as soon as it comes out. The Institute on MGM Plus, dropping at 9 p.m. on Sunday. I will have my video up, and we will do the pregame show and the after show for these shows. So make sure that you watch both shows. Subscribe to the channel. If you like the Gilded Age, I'm covering the Gilded Age also. Supposed to be going on Costume Coach channel and rocking with her on that and everything else. So we'll be covering them shows. Phil better be ready for this week for everything. It's a very busy week. I'll try to get some more content for you. I'll be back. Y'all see me in a couple live streams in a little bit and all that, but we'll always keep the From live streams going. I promise you, we will not stop talking From. I come up with these topics the day of. That's why the stream usually isn't there like 2-3 days in advance or anything. I come up with whatever I'm going to discuss and everything. I am watching Revival. I missed the last episode. I like the show. I think it's a good show. I really do. I just don't know if I have the exact time to cover it with all these shows. So that's the problem with Revival. I just don't have the time. And I don't know if I should just come in right now after 3-4 episodes have aired. Maybe I'll see. Let me see what I can do. If y'all want me, if you want me to cover a show, all you gotta do is ask me to do it. And if that's what y'all want, do whatever. I'm here. I work for y'all. I'll do it. You know what I mean? No problem. I like the show and everything else, but I got Dexter. I got Gilded Age, and now I got the Institute. I'm still doing From streams. So there's always downtime and stuff is just all coming out rapid fire right now. So if y'all really want it, just let me know and I'll do it. If y'all watch it, I'll do it. There's no problem. There's no problem and everything with that. All right, let me get shout out to everybody, especially people who get the super chats and the ones who called them, and all y'all who showed up and thumbs up the video. Truly appreciate it. It's not easy to come out here and rock this whole time by yourself and run that. You don't see other motherfuckers can't do it. People can't do it. The Don does the best I can. And again, I don't have shit written down. I don't have whole scripts or anything like that. I came up with this whole shit. I thought of the topic and I just made this whole shit up as I went on the fly. Just like the diamond stuff. It's go on the fly. That's how I do it, man. You know what I mean? So hopefully, you know what I mean? Yeah, people learn a little something, or you got open your mind a little bit, try and do my best up in here and everything else. I'll figure out what I come up with next week to talk about From, and then we'll go through all that stuff and break it down. You know what I'm saying? But until then, you know what you gotta do. Thumbs up the video, spread it across the realm, and until next time, know who it is. Peace. And what do you gotta do?